When I first see the goat that he's worried about, I can see why there's been some concern. The goat has a pretty serious injury.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's nasty.
So the hyena actually grabbed this goat and dragged it out of the boma?
Yes.
From what this herdsman can tell us, it sounds like the hyena has actually jumped over the fence, grabbed the goat, pulled it out, and then tried to essentially rip its face apart. This is a problem here because what we have is a very important part of the goat with the nose and the mouth. The hyena will have a lot of bacteria in its mouth, but also the goat has a lot of bacteria around here that can cause an infection.
Chris needs to act fast to try and stop infection spreading before it kills the goat.
What I want to do first is clean this area, get rid of all the dead bits of skin, so it'll look like I'm making the wound bigger, but there's a reason why I'm doing it. Even though this goat has been able to escape from this hyena, the injuries it's been left with are quite severe. It has a fracture in the roof of its mouth, plus now it has quite a nasty infection. Ooh, bad smell.
Yes. The stench indicates just how quickly the wound has deteriorated.
Does the goat have a name?
Pussy. Pussy.
Pussy. Pussy?
Yeah.
The goat is called Pussy.
Pussy. Pussy, it's something.
Buddy, so Pussy. Hey, Pussy, it's okay. And these are office scissors, usually used to cut paper, and they're being asked to perform surgery now. This looks a little bit strange, but there's no chance for this to heal unless the skin is actually healthy and has a blood supply, so I'm scraping it back, trying to get down to the healthy tissue, so when I bring healthy tissue in against healthy tissue, it will actually heal.
Chris needs to stitch the wound, but with limited equipment in such a remote area, it's going to be a challenge.
If Pussy was in the vet clinic, I'd pull out a perfectly sterilised surgical kit and grab needle holders. Here, I don't have that. Pussy already has a nasty wound and a nasty infection. Without treatment, in this heat, with this amount of flies around, she wouldn't last more than a few days. Hey, Pussy, it's okay. This type of infection needs antibiotics. There's no question about that, but the only antibiotics I have in my kit are for dogs and cats, which are not going to be suitable for Pussy. Have you got your malaria medication in the car? Can you go and grab it?
Yeah, sure.
Human malaria tablets from the crew's personal medical kit could now save the goat.
These tablets are normally given orally to treat malaria, basically. But if you grind them up into a powder and mix it with water, there's no reason why we can't flush that into that wound and kill all the bacteria that are sitting in there and really give this goat the best chance of kicking this infection. We need to make sure this gets everywhere.
Once Chris has thoroughly drenched the wound, he can close it up.
Okay, now we'd try for a stitch. Okay. This is just all that improvisation. We're having to use whatever we can find. This is what I'm going to use to put the stitches in. A pair of pliers. Okay, Pussy's going to have to be very brave. With no local anaesthetic, I'm having to ask a fair bit of this goat. I'm going to have to stitch closed that massive wound. I keep on being surprised at how calm Pussy is being to what I'm asking of her, but you've got to remember, life's tough out here. They have to be really hardy and put up with a lot just to survive. One more stitch, okay? We don't want to close up the whole thing, okay? For the air to be flowing in is a good thing, okay?
After closing the wound, Chris wants to give the goat one final medication.
All right, I think we're done. As an extra boost to Pussy's immune system, I'm going to give her a worm treatment. That way, all her reserves, all her energy can be directed into healing this wound rather than having to worry about parasites. That will help Pussy get through the next few weeks. Pussy does not need any more stress. Can you tell him that Pussy is no pussy? Pussy is a tough goat.
Pussy is not bad.
Pussy's good. Pussy's good. Yeah, Pussy should be okay.
Yes.
I'm very impressed. Very good goat.
Yeah.
Okay, you look after Pussy. If I wasn't already relieved enough that my hardware pliers and my anti-malaria tablets had hopefully made a difference here, it turns out Pussy's a mother. This treatment could have saved 2 lives.
It's been a marathon surgery under difficult conditions, and the herdsman wants to thank Chris with a local delicacy.
Milk.
What's this?
Milk of camels.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow. It's good. Warm camel milk. It's so strong, a really strong flavour, like quite silky and fatty and very warm. Somehow very good. Back in the vet clinic, it's not uncommon for someone to drop in a bottle of wine or champagne as a way of saying thank you for treating their animal. But in all my years of working, I've never received a gourd of camel milk as a way of saying thanks. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Audrey and Alison are answering an SOS to help rescue a young kangaroo found hanging upside down in a fence. Rosemary from nearby Possumwood Wildlife is first on the scene.
When we are called out to a fence hanger, where you get this sort of tight knot in your stomach, you think, oh my God, is it going to be dead or have fractured legs? So some of them are just hanging in the fence with their leg almost severed. Once that animal knows that you're there, it will start thrashing, and you know the wire's cutting into their leg more. They could dislocate their hip right in front of your eyes. It's very distressing knowing how much more damage they're doing and how painful it must be. And sometimes the outcomes are really bad.
The girls are seconds away, and as they arrive, the badly injured kangaroo has been freed from the fence and is lying on the ground.
This type is actually the hardest rescue. Caught by one leg, they can still kick with the other one. And they very frightened.
We arrive at the scene and we can see there's blood all over the fence hanger's under some blankets. The little boy looks like he's in a lot of pain.
Okay, if I just give him a bit of sedation. Just going to give him a bit of sedation.
Yeah, so mum jumps the fence and the little one says, well, I want to try and jump the fence as well.
So what's probably happened is that the mother's jumped over the fence during the night and the little Joey has not been able to get that height and has actually got trapped. And it's probably the worst case scenario because it's springtime, there's a lot of Joeys on foot, and that generally is what happens because they can't see the fence at night.
If the wire has cut completely all the tissue right through to the bone, they have to be euthanized. And sometimes we get them and they've been hanging there for a day or two, and so the foot or the toe's completely dead. Yeah, so it's a shocking thing. I find fence hangers very upsetting because they suffer so much. Yeah.
Audrey and Alison must move quickly to get the badly injured Roo to the Possumwood Hospital for urgent treatment.
And you think about it in a human perspective, that's like a 2-year-old little boy that's trapped in the fence overnight in the cold. He's in a lot of pain, he's in shock.
His mum. Upside
Pooing
down.
himself upside down, doing damage. It just should never happen. It's so traumatic.
The twins are desperately hoping they'll arrive in enough time to save the traumatised Roo.
So we have to get this Joey urgently to Possumwood Hospital.
Which way do you want it? Out this way?
Yeah, just take him out that way.
So we stretch the Joey in straight into the surgery room and we need to stabilise him. We've got to get him warm, we've got to give him fluids, we've got to take some x-rays. So the best thing is we put him under general anaesthetic. So we pop some isoflurane gas and then tube him so that it's nice and safe, and then we get started. And I'll get an IV access.
It's not known how long the young Roo was trapped in the fence, so Audrey and Alison need to urgently assess his vital signs.
Gosh, he's cold, his veins are so small. We get straight to it, we shave up the tail, look for the tail vein, we can't find one.
34.2, 34.3, cold.
Come on, get warm, get warm, get warm.
So this little guy is dangerously cold. He's been upside down, his blood is rushed to his head, he hasn't got much blood in his extremities. That's quite bad because we actually want to make sure that leg has a good blood supply we know is injured.
With the young Roo's life hanging in the balance, Rosemary pitches in to help, handing over heat packs.
Yep, small one there.
Eventually the little Roo's temperature begins to stabilise, and Audrey can finally locate a vein so they can start administering life-saving fluids.
Just going to keep this foot warm and then we can start shaving up.
So we're examining the injured leg and we can see that the injuries are quite severe.
So it's a pretty nasty injury. You can see that the wire's kind of gone all the way around the ankle, which is not a great spot.
We can see the exposed Achilles tendon, but luckily that Achilles tendon is intact. It hasn't been severed, which is absolutely amazing considered his ring bark a part of that area.
But seconds later,
Oh, I think I see bone.
Audrey discovers a new problem.
So it literally went all the way down to bone, sort of rubbed against the bone and stopped. It's just chipped away at it. It doesn't look like it's fractured. Can you see it's just chipped away at that corner?
We'll get an X-ray on that. The biggest fear for us is that he's fractured something. If he's fractured a bone in his foot, especially around his ankle, that's going to be really hard to treat. So it could mean drastic consequences for him.
So that really warrants at this point to do an X-ray, make sure that bone's intact.
X-rays. So looking at the side view, I can see the areas through the skin where the wire's cut through, but the bone actually looks okay. We'll take another view there, and then I've just taken a view from top to bottom, and that is also looking good. So I looked at all the ankle bones, everything's intact. Joint looks fine, all the views look really good, so I'm pretty confident that it's down to the bone, but it hasn't fractured the bone.
So great news, that X-ray is all clear. Even though we can see the bone externally, it's actually intact. He hasn't broken any bones.
He's been so lucky, so lucky. So next step is examining the hip. We need to make sure that he hasn't dislocated it. He's been hanging by one leg and twisting around. It's a very, very real thing that could happen. So we do a couple of tests, couple of manipulation, and again, another tick, it's still intact. And so that means we can go to the next step, which is flushing, debriding, getting a bandage on and just putting him into recovery. We got a special sauce. We've been dealing with a lot of kangaroo wounds since the bushfires, and what we were finding once we got them through that initial period of treating the burns and getting it to heal, they get these nasty infections, and of course, because they're out in the mud. So we cultured a lot of those wounds and we managed to find there were certain bacteria that kept popping up, found the antibiotics to treat that bacteria, and then we invented this special gel sauce.
So they're going to be open wounds, which means that they have to heal over time by themselves. We're not suturing it closed because there's actually no skin left to suture closed. Pop some bandages on, and he's actually going to heal really nicely with good nursing care.
After his horrific ordeal, the little Roo is still not out of danger and will be closely monitored over the next few hours.
There we go.
And straight away, Audrey and Alison have another urgent case.
So Rosemary asked us to look at another patient, and this is actually an old fence hanger, and we're really worried because there's these two big pockets of pus. She's actually seen pus coming from it, and we don't know where it's coming from. Is it a piece of wire that's been left in there and now it's starting to get infected, or is it a new injury?
Oh my God! Should I slightly tilt it?
There's a possibility that this injury or this infection could have come from the fence hanging. Sometimes a little bit of barbed wire can track up the leg and form a seed of infection. Pus needs to come out. Pus is always better out than in. It's just full of infection and white blood cells.
Oh.
Heaps of pus keeps coming out. And I think it actually even surprised me how much pus came out.
And the smell.
And the smell.
That is not a good smell.
So smelly. Smells like egg.
It smells like poo.
You can't smell it? I have never smelled anything that bad. I don't even know how to describe that.
It's actually stinging my eyes because it's that pungent.
So for the full experience.
Poor bother me. I mean, I do.
Oh my God! And that pressure that it was coming out was like a waterfall. It was just a waterfall of vile smelling pus.
How painful must that be to have that much pressure on the leg, let alone the infection that's going on? I'm surprised she's been hopping around at all.
I need a new dish, guys. There's some
And then we also really need to get a sample. So this sample is really important to send off to the lab because they're going to culture and we're going to see what sort of microorganisms are growing there and also what antibiotics or what treatment we can give Willa to make sure this clears up. Oh my God, that's the smaller one. The bigger one's up there.
You definitely know the medical people in the room because as soon as anyone sees or smells pus, the whole room fills up. Yep.
Yes, we've got an audience
We've
today.
got an audience. You know what's gross? When I press this one, stuff comes out of that one. As much of a sick fascination it is to watch all this pus coming through, it is at the back of my mind about how bad this has been for Woola. That pocket of pus has a tremendous pressure underneath it, so that's uncomfortable. Also on top of that, there's some severe infection going on. It might be bacterial, it might be viral, it might be fungal, but whatever it is, that is dangerous. It could go into her bloodstream, it could potentially infect her whole body, and she could die.
So we get 2 full kidney dishes of pus. That is a huge volume even for us as vets to see. We give that large capsule a good flush out with some saline.
As long as we identify what microorganism is causing this pus and infection and we give the right antibiotics for it, she should recover well. We've also given her some pain relief, so hopefully moving forward she can recover and be released into the wild. Hi buddy.
At Possumwood, Audrey and Alison are checking on the young Roo at the centre of a dramatic roadside rescue.
So we like to name all our patients in Possumwood, and because this little Joey has done so well, I think we need to find a fitting name for him. We'll call you Denley. I think that suits you.
I think Denley has a bright future. His injuries, although they are quite severe, they're going to heal really well.
Oh, you're such a good patient.
Chris is answering an emergency call out for an unusual hit-run victim.
Who is it, boys?
Hello. Are you the turtle I come about?
Hello,
No?
how are you?
I'm Chris.
Christy, lovely to meet
Christy.
you.
Hey guys.
Say hello, this is Xavier and Tane.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming. We've
That's
got
all
a
right.
sick turtle.
Yeah, where is he?
Just through here.
All right.
Christy is concerned about an injured turtle she found on the side of a busy local road.
He was almost getting hit by the other cars passing by, so we got out of the car, we picked him up and we saw that he'd had a big crack underneath, so we brought him home and called Mullen Coast. This is Donatello.
Donatello. Who named him Donatello? Where did you find him?
He was just on the side of the road.
I might get him out.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
him. He is a big turtle. He's a lot bigger than we get back home.
Really?
Yeah, you bet.
We breed them big up here.
It's a monster.
Thank you.
Guys, could you just grab my little box there?
Good boy.
Thank you. The first thing Christy noticed when she picked up this turtle is that it has a crack. Sometimes the crack in the shell can only be a hint as to what's occurring beneath the shell. So my worry is that if the car's hit this guy hard enough, then it may have actually ruptured those internal organs. We could be looking at a pneumothorax, so a punctured lung, or even more serious internal injuries. That is a big crack right there. When you look at where the injuries are at the front of the shell underneath and also the chip here, it's safe to assume that when it was hit by a car, the car hit the front half.
Yeah.
What I find amazing though is with this neck being so long, how the head hasn't got any injuries.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, he finds it incredibly hard to tuck all of that neck and head inside the shell. So he's either been incredibly lucky or there are injuries there we just haven't seen yet. We'll just check out the rest of him for any other injuries.
So it is a boy?
Well, that's what I was going to look at.
Is that a tail or?
It's a tail, but what'd you call him, Donatello?
Oh.
You okay with Donna?
It's a girl.
It's a girl.
It's a girl.
So I'm quite keen to take her back to the clinic and x-ray her to see whether she has any other serious injuries.
Yeah.
So we're going to take her now and go and patch her up.
And when you finish, can you take her back here? And then we put her back where we found her, but not on the road.
Yeah, we'll definitely let you know when she's all fixed up. Even though we've cleared up a few mysteries, like the fact that he is actually a she, there are still quite a few unknowns here. We truly won't know the extent of Donna's injuries until we get back to the clinic. An x-ray will give us a really clear view about what's happening underneath that shell. And once we do that, we'll be able to plan out what sort of future she has. Okay guys, We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks
again.
See you later, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
She's got a big crack right across the middle there.
Poor darling.
So I might x-ray her straight away.
Yep.
In Cairns, Chris has arrived back at the Mauled Goat Veterinary Hospital with Donna.
Yeah, it's a nasty wound.
The long-necked turtle is in a bad way after being run over by a car.
Now we've made it back to the clinic, the reality dawns on me. This is where we have to try to fix this shell. And the more I look at it, the more I realise it's going to be one hell of a task.
Do you have a box? I just need to find a way of positioning her on the x-ray. So I want to get a view straight through the side of a shell.
Yeah,
Any old cardboard boxes or polystyrene boxes? I think I've got an idea. What do you reckon?
Let's give it a go.
Okay.
With vet nurse Crystal giving the tick of approval, Chris is now ready to put his unusual invention to the test.
It's pretty good. You're not happy, are you? And deservedly so, but at least you can actually look me in the eyes and express your displeasure about this situation. All right, I'll make this quick.
There's no doubt in my mind that not fixing Donna's shell is simply not an option. With an open shell like this, bacteria can just go straight inside the body, and from there, we're talking about a serious infection that could very well be fatal.
Okay, she's pretty settled now. Okay, ready to go?
Yep. Cool.
You were very good. That neck just goes everywhere, doesn't it? Okay, we just need one more shot here. This might actually be the hardest one of all. Just straight on.
Turtles obviously look like very unique creatures, and they certainly are. But you have to remember those bony plates that make up the shell are really there to protect the internal organs. Once you go through the shell, chances are there's something significant sitting underneath it.
The fact is, in order to fully assess how serious Donna's injuries are, we need two views, one on the side and one from above. We've now taken those, so it's time to see the results. There are really a few important parts of this x-ray. First of all, we want to see the initial injury we knew was already there, this crack in the base of the shell, and that's certainly showing that whilst it's there, it's not penetrating into any body cavities, which is really good news, but also it's allowing us to see the rest of the shell and see that there are no other cracks, there's no other damage that's been caused by the car.
Although the first shot is good news, it's the second x-ray that holds most of the concern for me, because it'll reveal whether any organs have been damaged and whether any infection has taken hold.
It's a very different view, but what it does show as well is that this head and neck, it really does protrude out the outside of the shell, and I'm still amazed that it hasn't been run over, because by the looks of it, there are no fractures through this neck region here. All the feet and leg bones are intact and fine, right down to these back legs. They're incredible creatures because they have almost all the same bones that we have, only they look so completely different. It's just all kept within this shell that's meant to provide that safety barrier for them.
Donna's shell has saved her life, but it's come at a cost.
I've never treated a freshwater turtle this big and never had to deal with a fracture in a shell this large. My concern right now is that maybe there is no way of fixing this injury.
First of all, we have to lever it back into place, but then we need to work out a way to actually keep it in place, bearing in mind that we've got an animal that's going to rely on the shell for protection. Fixing turtle shells like that, it's never easy, and right now I'm not even sure how we do fix it. The tricky thing here is that you've got quite a thick shell that's fractured the whole way through, and the x-ray proves it. They are incredibly hard to fix, and right now I'm not even sure we can fix it.
If we can't fix this shell, then Donna will never be able to go back to the wild, and infection will be a constant concern for her.
There is something that I've seen done before, which might work.
Yeah. Is it a bit of a gamble?
It is, but I might need some of the other nurses' help. So you guys don't happen to have spare bra clips? I'm being serious.
Well, I could take mine off.
Sorry, that wasn't a request. I just... Quite seriously, there is something I can do with bra clips. You left. Is there a shop that would have something like that? Like the clips that attach the bra at the back?
It's just one down the road at the shopping centre.
Yeah? Okay, is that going to be the safer option here?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to leave now.
I'm not sure if bra hooks have ever been used to fix a turtle's shell before. I'm guessing not though.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hey, I have a rather interesting request.
Yeah?
I'm looking for some bra clips.
Some bra clips.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah?
I've got all the support I need, but it's for a turtle.
A turtle?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you have any little clips that I can sort of put over a crack in a shell and kind of tie some wire around? Just little metal clips is what I'm looking for.
Yes, I think I know what you're talking about. How about if we go that way?
Yeah, okay.
It's not every day you get somebody coming in, especially a vet, looking for a bra clip. I think something like this, because you've got so much of a backing on it, that would probably glue better. And then if you
what
turn
are they
it, these are for your pants. So you hook them around and see the hook in there. So you might be able to hook it around, just like doing up the wedding dress, that one.
I've got a lot of experience with that.
Exactly, yes. You come in looking for a bra clip. I think he's got a one-track mind, but he's all sorted out now. I've sold him something else, hunky-dory. Our little turtle's going to be fine from now on.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, see ya. Have a good one.
Yeah, we'll do.
See you next time.
Of course, there'll be a next time.
Bye.
See you later. Good news, guys.
Oh, yay! Bra straps are everyone.
Well, funnily enough, not. Went for a more masculine option of trouser hooks.
Trouser hooks.
Yep. So, I'm ready to go.
Yep.
So we might get Donna set up for surgery and...
Yep, let's get her on the
going.
table.
Get going.
In Cairns, Chris is ready to begin surgery to repair Donna's shattered shell.
Can I get you to hold her there?
Yep.
If the shell isn't fixed, Donna runs the risk of developing a life-threatening infection.
The challenge we've got in repairing this shell is the fact that it's living tissue. It has a blood supply, so we're actually pulling some of it back just so we can get those ends of the crack together. It's not easy, and it can be quite traumatic. The helpful thing here is that by putting a neck like that, it should show off a jugular vein.
At the moment, because we're dealing with a creature we don't routinely see that has an injury that is quite rare, we're having to go to extraordinary lengths to come up with a solution.
Just stick your finger in his mouth just to see if he's asleep yet.
After you.
These jaws are incredibly powerful, so if I can avoid losing a finger, it'd be ideal. Sound. She's a real challenge. I mean, you're dealing with a patient that takes up to 10 minutes to fall asleep from her anaesthetic. And from there, she's still got the ability to chomp down. So we're having to be very careful, but also really plan out every move. Okay, let's get this in here.
Donna is finally anaesthetised, but suddenly there's a problem.
She was breathing every 4 seconds. It's starting to slow. And I'm probably going to have to start breathing for her now.
There's just a bit of concern at the moment because we're not seeing any signs of life out of her. These guys are renowned for not really giving too much away. Their pulse rate's incredibly low, respiratory rate's incredibly low under anaesthetic, but we can't get any sign of life out of her at the moment. She's gone from biting my finger to all of a sudden being incredibly deep, to the point where we can't see any breaths. We can't really get any sort of pulse rate. We can't hear a heartbeat.
You happy for me to give her a breath?
Yeah, give her. Oh. It's alive. It's bit me on the finger.
Oh, okay.
Being bitten on the finger by a turtle is normally something I dread, but I've never been happier for it to happen. Now it means I can finally get on with fixing Donna's shell.
You can see just how much that's overriding. This needs to shift all the way up there, but the problem is it's now not going back into place. So we have to take some of that off, and then hopefully the forces will relax. We can actually slide those two plates together. If you clean her up, I'll get started on this and we'll just move quickly.
Yeah.
The equipment we have to use is essentially equipment we normally use for orthopaedic surgery, where you are operating on bones. So it helps, but it still makes it very slow progress.
The whole point of cleaning these edges are all about making sure we minimise the chance of infection, but also we give ourselves the best chance of getting a strong bond.
We're still overriding quite a bit there, so I may just try to take a bit off the end here. So I've decided to take a bit more of a dramatic approach, because if I just continue to sand back that shell, we're just never going to get to the point where we're getting these ends of the shell to meet. But with these ronges, which are essentially bone cutters, we're able to really get to a good point where it's looking like the shell's starting to align. Okay. It's starting to look more like it.
Yeah, that looks good.
Really part of the battle here has been trying to get this crack back to really healthy tissue where there's nothing dead and there's nothing where it shouldn't be. So now I'm pretty happy we're in that place. So it's time to get some gloves on, get started.
I'll open it up and you can just have it.
In Cairns, surgery to fix Donna's shattered shell is underway.
The way we're actually going to attach these metal clips is kind of the same way as you attach braces to teeth. We'll form a resin that goes directly on and really bonds the shell to the metal of the clip. Weirdly getting flashbacks to when I had braces. They're not happy memories. Be really careful to leave what is the crack and essentially the open wound here very clear of anything, because that's living tissue, that has to heal. It's going to form a scab and then a scar. So we're going to run some wire between them all, but we're still dealing with some big forces that are going to try to pull this down. So what I'm thinking is, using an oversized paddle pop stick or a tongue depressor, we're going to glue that in place, and that's going to be a really supportive brace just to counteract those forces. Make sure we get the angle right here. The wood as a material is perfect because it has a little bit of give, and you want some flexibility just like the natural shell does. This has really become one of the most bizarre surgeries I've ever done.
With everything in place,
okay, that's a good start.
Chris can now start the final stage of the reconstruction.
So we're using a figure 8 pattern to balance out the forces and make sure that it's pulling in a really parallel way. So once the wire's in place, it's just a simple matter of twisting it to tighten it, and naturally will actually apply that tension across that wire. And it's that tension that's going that direction that's actually going to bring the shell back together.
After 90 minutes, Donna's surgery is finally finished.
All right. So looking at it, we've got a good supportive structure across the top here, but now between these clips, it's really bringing those edges back in together nicely. There's no overriding. Everything's looking like it's pointing in the right direction. All right. Think we can whack her up?
Yeah, looks great.
The nature of turtle shells means that this won't be a quick recovery. It's going to take weeks and months for that shell to get its strength back. But thankfully here, in this vet clinic, she's in safe hands. She just needs to learn to live a slower pace of life.
All right. So this is your temporary home. Once you're all healed up, you know what you can do? You can use those snapping jaws as much as you like.
The team here at Mauled Goat will look after Donna for the next few months, and then those clips will be removed, and then she'll go back to the wild.
It's pretty bad. It's a couple of centimetres deep and all across from one side to the other.
Peter has a collection of 20 goannas at home, and one of the larger family members has attacked the much smaller 5-year-old Belle.
To be honest, I am a little bit scared of reptiles. They give me the creeps, and treating or handling one of these is a bit of a nightmare for me.
Hey, little one.
You can't really trust them. I've been bitten by her actually a while back when she was smaller. I had to go to hospital for that.
I'm gonna actually, if you don't mind, take her out the back and get Jess, our nurse, to help me get that bandage off, and we can take a look.
We're supposed to learn about all animals at uni, but quite honestly, all I can remember about lizards and reptiles are a few lectures we had back in 3rd year.
Yeah, if you can be comfortable that you're going to hold her and that she's not going to bite me, because honestly, I don't deal with reptiles very often, and I'm instilling all my faith in you.
Okay.
Okay.
I used to work up at Australia Zoo, Wildlife Hospital, and we did a lot of lace monitors up there. They're just misunderstood. It's the claws and the tails that you need to watch out for in these guys, not necessarily their mouth.
All right. Now her tail, is there a spike?
No, they flick it really
flick
hard.
it hard.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to get like bruised from that and scratched and shredded from the claws. Fantastic. I'm a bit nervous. I'm looking at his claws.
Belle the lace monitor has been savaged by one of the huge goannas she lives with.
I don't even like the feel of this.
But before Lisa can treat the severe wound, she wants to give Belle a general anaesthetic. Finding the right spot is proving extremely difficult.
Oh my God, Steph! It's not the easiest thing to do because you can't really see the vein. I guess if I was taking blood for a dog or a cat, I could feel the vein and I could see it. Here we're kind of going in blind.
There it is.
Yay! How good is that?
And then just hold it.
Woohoo! I anaesthetised a lace monitor. But maybe the first and last time. Right, hon, just take some deep breaths. Talking to a lizard here. Look, oh, she's really been ripped to pieces here. I see all the flesh and muscle right underneath there, so that big lace monitor has obviously come up to her and just taken a chunk out of her neck, and this needs to be stitched. I guess the main thing that I'm concerned about is infection. Goannas have got really nasty bacteria in their mouth and in their claws, and that bacteria can almost be venomous. It's that bad. So if we don't stitch up this wound and get her on some antibiotics, she can die from septic infection. How far down do we go? We've got to work pretty quickly here because they're obviously very sensitive animals, very prone to stress.
Belle the lace monitor has had her neck ripped open by a much larger goanna.
The muscle under there is really shredded. The good thing is it doesn't look like it's gone through to her spinal cord. If it had, she would probably be paralysed, but I really need to fix up this shredded muscle and treat any chance of infection. Even though these reptiles freak me out a little bit, looking at Belle, I actually feel quite sorry for her. She has been bullied by a big bloke and she has copped a terrible bite. Thank you. All right, here we go. Her skin is really thick and tough, so I need to use a very thick suture material in order to close that wound. In a dog or cat, I would use something a lot finer. I'm trying to do neat ones so that she still maintains her attractive looks. And we're done.
Anti-inflammatory and antibiotic injections finish the lace monitor's treatment.
So just before she wakes up, did you want to give her a bit of a kiss on the nose?
I can't. I can't do it. You do it.
No?
Come on, kiss goodbye. You're awake.
important for me to see her moving like this. It emphasises the fact that there's no damage to her spinal cord and she's recovered well from the procedure. I think now we'll pop her back to bed to wake up more. I'm feeling pretty chuffed with myself now. I think that all went very well. If another one came in, yes, I would treat it.
While Lisa is congratulating herself on controlling her fear of reptiles, vet nurse Jess is still not convinced.
Oh my God, you are evil, all of you.
She's still a princess until she kisses a toad.
You should be telling me how brave I was. I was so brave. Who knows, maybe I'll become Sasha's resident lace monitor specialist. There's my role. But I'll never kiss one. That is never, ever, ever going to happen.